The other day I was scrolling through social media and I came across the video of Stephon Clark's family friend. I'll let you take a look.
His brother Stavante is suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. Stavante has lost 2 of his brothers. I was over at Stefon's gravesite yesterday, where he is buried on top of his 19-year-old brother. Stavante has lost his older brother. He has lost his baby brother. And he is losing some of his mind. And while everyone has something to say, while everyone wants to talk negative, this is why this baby says we need a resource center. Where are the mental health professionals in our community? He needs help. What you see is not rare. It just had to happen.
If you haven't seen that video before, I'm sure in viewing it now, you probably feel very similarly to me, which is my heart went out to that family. And if you've been following the story, then you've seen his brother on a number of interviews, and people have been commenting, why is he behaving that way? Why is he acting that way? Isn't there another way to do it? I understand he has grief, but isn't there another way to express that emotion? And I'm not surprised by his anger, his hurt, and his frustration. I've been in mental health for a long time now, and I see this quite regularly. Our communities are plagued with violence. His brother was murdered in his backyard, and I think about how our safe spaces are so frequently invaded. What do you do when your safe space is invaded? Stephon Clark might just be a name to us, just another name on a long list of other names that we've heard, that we hear about, that we get enraged about, and then we move on. But for all of the Stephon Clarks that don't get named, we have communities full of people whose brothers and cousins and mothers and fathers and friends are killed and murdered all the time, and we're just expected to get over it. We're just expected to move on with no coping skills, no coping strategies, other than a lot of maladaptive ones, ones that we frown upon when people utilize, like drugs and, drinking and fighting and bursting out in anger. And we frown upon those things, but we don't give them any alternatives. And a lot of that has to do with the stigma that we have in our community about reaching out to mental health services. So for a long time, there were not resources or enough resources for mental health services in our community. And then once we got resources, we still have to contend with the stigma, the negative connotations of weakness, that your faith is not strong enough if you reach out for help. And it's time to end that. Mental health should be treated like any other health. When a person has diabetes, they go to the doctors for that. If you had high blood pressure, you go to the doctors for that. Your mental health should be taken just as seriously. We want to get the word out there that it's time to try something new. We have to go into our communities and we have to let the people know that there's nothing wrong with getting mental health services. We're located in the community. We go to homes to provide mental health services. So you don't even have to travel far, because we'll come to you. Because it's time that people go into the communities for something good. It's time to provide some solutions to these problems. It's time to take the people by the hand and help you up, and not expect you to help yourself up by your bootstraps. We're here, we're trained professionals, and we're ready to help the people of our communities. You don't have to go through this alone.